Ben Affleck offered $30 million to reprise his role as Batman? Say what? More right after this. What is happening, Internet? K-Wing here. How's everybody doing? And this is your Bat News, your number one source for all things The Dark Knight in movie, TV, video games, and occasionally DC Comics. And, well, the Internet is at it again, this time saying that Ben Affleck's Batman is going to return for $30 million. And some Twitter scoopers are going back and forth saying it's not true, but also it contradicts the fact that Ben Affleck appears at the end of The Flash, setting up the next DC big crossover movie, where supposedly he would lead the next group of Justice Leaguers or whatever against the big bad who could either be Darkseid or the Anti-Monitor. We don't know. But what we do know is that Ben Affleck was planning on coming back anyway, or at least leaving the door open for the possibility. Now, some of the Twitter scoopers are going back and forth and saying that this isn't true because, well, David Zaslav, or Zaslow, or whatever you want to say, has been tightening the belt and canceling a lot of movie projects and things that go beyond the budget, which his budget for HBO Max is insane. It's like 30 to 35 million. That's going to be kind of hard to swing. So RIP Green Lantern series. I'm not saying the Green Lantern series is going to be axed, but just put this in perspective. The Wonder Twins movie was supposed to come out for HBO Max at 75 mil, and well, it got the axe. The Green Lantern thing, we have no idea what's going on. I, for one, just spitballing, would love a Tom Cruise-centered Green Lantern buddy cop movie with Jon Stewart. So kind of have Tom Cruise being the older guy, helping out the new blood, which is Jon Stewart. And instead of them fighting a really lame villain, why not bring in the Manhunters? There you go. An actual threat to Oa. That would be interesting. But we don't know what they're doing with the Green Lantern Corps. We don't know what's going on with the Green Lantern show. But I'm just putting this in perspective for you, why some of this is ridiculous. Now, some people on Twitter have gone and said, well, The Rock did his movie for $20 million, so there's no way that Warner Brothers would offer a huge amount of money to a Batman actor to reprise their role. That's not necessarily true. Did you know for Batman Forever, when Keaton walked off Batman 3, he was offered a lot of money, I believe it was around 10 to 15 million, to come back and do the movie for Joel Schumacher, and he said, and I quote, "The movie sucks, the script is terrible, I'm out." And he literally walked off the set and never came back, and then they brought in Val Kilmer. So the idea of them not offering a hefty $1 million sign-on bonus to come back and do a movie if the studio is really desperate for, you to come back, that does happen. So I'm going to go and say, yeah, this is potentially true. But again, I would take some of this with a grain of salt because it hasn't really been confirmed other by just one publication. And this publication has had a 50-50 track record. Just like most Twitter scoopers. So the Twitter scoopers are dismissing this as it's not real. And then, some publications are like, well, big giant robots not always on the up and up, but they have gotten some reports right. Personally, I really do believe that Ben Affleck will be coming back. I don't think that was ever up to debate. I don't believe that the Snyderverse is going to continue in the way that people believe. Again, I'm a big, firm supporter that I believe that the Snyder Cut actors of Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck will return for certain roles in the DCEU after The Flash. I also believe that it's very likely that Henry Cavill will fly again against The Rock. But again, you have to remember that the Black Adam movie takes place in the Flash universe before the Flash. Thank you very much, Zelda, for attacking my microphone. I really appreciate that. That helps me out so much doing this news video. So I don't believe that the Snyderverse, in a sense, will be restored the way that people are thinking. I believe that some of the actors will return for one last, hurrah, so to speak, before everything gets whiteboarded. And I really do believe that is the endgame plan, is just to do a full-blown, wipe the slate clean and start over. That's kind of where they were going with the Flash movie, but we know that that is not going to be the case with the Flash. They are going to do kind of like a soft reboot for a while, but at the same time, they're keeping the old DCEU essentially alive and well in a pocket dimension that survives, Flash's hijinks, which would pave way for their next big movie, which would be Crisis on Infinite Earths or Final Crisis, with Ben Affleck starring that. You would not have Leslie Grace or Michael Keaton being the star power for that, because we don't even know what's happening with the Batgirl movie. There's rumors that it could end up being a theatrical release sometime in 2023, or it could still be on HBO Max. The problem with it being on HBO Max, though, is it's already exceeded its budget that the new CEO of Warner Discovery has allowed. And this guy's a stickler for spending money. So, I don't know. I would really bet that Batgirl starring Michael Keaton would be on a theatrical thing, and also they'll put more Michael Keaton in the movie. So that's just, my reasoning behind that, because Leslie Grace isn't big enough a star to kind of headline that, because people are going to want to see Michael Keaton back. Just like I really feel that based on all the crazy antics of Ezra Miller, that they are going to retool the movie to, we'll say, focus more on the fact that a Batman that was around 30 years ago was coming back to, cinema. That would be the big draw, not necessarily Barry Allen playing 3 versions of himself. And, the introduction of Sasha Calle as Supergirl and stuff like that. The DCU is all over the place. So, again, I really believe that the Final Crisis movie, if it gets made, anything can happen with DC films, that it would be kind of like the accumulation of everything that went on from the new universe that we're going to see, stuff like Blue Beetle, which is filming right now, and Batgirl, and The Flash, and whatever they do with Black Adam 2, and things like that. And then the old universe, which we had with Wonder Woman and BVS, Justice League, Black Adam, Shazam. Everything's just going to kind of get reset with this Final Crisis movie. And then everybody would be happy. You would get to see Ben Affleck one last time. You get to see Henry Cavill. And then everything just kind of ends up changing. Maybe Henry Cavill comes back as Superman, in the new universe. Or maybe he doesn't. We'll find out what goes on with everything with that. But again, I believe some aspects of the story that it is something major that's happening with Ben Affleck, but also I believe that the ball is in his court. He doesn't have to come back if he doesn't want to. He said, a while back last year that he was done with any type of franchise-based films when he was talking about Marvel and DC and things like that, focusing on a lot of his indie projects. And then, less than, 5-6 months ago, he finished working the Flash movie, said he had a great time, and he was going to keep the door open for more Batman stuff if he wanted to. The important thing is that he's in control, and Warner Brothers supposedly is offering him a big paycheck to sign on. But it's still not the biggest paycheck that an actor has gotten. Just so you know, Robert Downey Jr. was offered $75 million to reprise his role in the Marvel Endgame movie. And Keanu Reeves was given $60 million to come back to The Matrix. So, I mean, the fact them saying, oh, actors don't make this much. No. They make much more than that. So that's bumpkiss, and you know it, for saying that kind of stuff on social media. So yeah, again, I believe there's some truth to it, and I guess we'll see what happens. I would expect some type of major announcement with 2023, 2024 DC films, probably sometime this summer. I don't know if it'll be at a San Diego Comic-Con, or if it'll be at a DC fandom event. I'm hearing that they are going to do another DC fandom event just based on how profitable it was. I don't want to talk about that too much. Today's focus was Ben Affleck. More or less, I'm happy with the news. Now I want to hear from all of you guys and gals. How do you feel about Ben Affleck being offered a hefty sum of $30 million to reprise his role as Batman in the Final Crisis movie? Do you think it's true? You think it's false? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, would this change your opinion on Ben Affleck coming back? Do you think it would be a permanent thing, or are you kind of like me, thinking it would be one last, ride off into the sunset, have him do something epic, and then probably either die or just get merged together with a Michael Keaton or maybe even a Robert Pattinson Batman? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But I plan on doing more Batman stuff as we get into June. I was dealing with a lot of work over on we'll say, my K-Wings Let's Plays brand. And streaming way more than I should, and I did get a little sick because of it, because I've been pushing about 8-hour streams a day, and it's not good for my ticker. So I had to kind of scale things back on this channel, because I usually make videos over here around 2 to 4 in the morning, when I can. But I'm doing some bulk recording of some news, and have some things to share with you guys for the next few days, and then we'll have a little cooling off period, and see what goes on. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys have a good one. And until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming. Keep it locked here for all things Batman in movies, TV, video games, and occasionally DC Comics. Later, Gothamites.